All right, I think I got it going. Can you guys hear me? Hey, welcome to DC Fine Art, and I got a lot of cameras going on, so I am all over the place. Sorry about being a little late. Was just trying to get everything organized, and I was running behind, so I am just happy to be here. Got everything set up for this different kind of art piece. It's one that I've been wanting to do for a really long time. I keep on looking all over the place. I really need to stick like a little stuffed animal or just something up there so that way I can look at the camera where I'm actually looking at you guys. But what I was thinking about doing was a ant piece. If any of you guys are new to my channel, I do all different types of just art stuff. So I do color pencil, soft pastel, I've done oil pastel, we worked on some acrylic paints and just different art mediums. I've even worked at ink. So this time I was going to do this little mixed media piece here, which on this here I don't know if, I think this may be the first time I'm using it. I'm not quite for sure. I could have used it before, but for what I know, I think it may be the first time. And it is the Winsor Newton pastel paper. And I don't think I've ever used it with like color pencil. So this is something completely new as far as using paper, or at least this type of paper. But I absolutely wanted to do this and I get to try it. So hopefully it'll end up being good. So, and I got my little ants up there. They're watching. See, these little guys is what inspired me to do a little ant picture and then have like little ants. Well, you guys can't see them crawling around. I guess they're not real ants though. They're metal ants. So what we're going to do is we're going to work. I've got already kind of like a layout of my ants. These are some little water droplets. I will show you the reference photo that I'm using. I got it from Pixabay. So here is there. Sorry about that. I guess you couldn't hear me. Let me switch that back and get that fixed for you guys. But well, I guess we don't have to, but let's see here. Anyways, on that reference photo, like I said, it isn't identical to my drawing that's happening, but it is close. So I'm going to work in color pencil. I'm just going to grab different random color pencil brands. They're going to be either my Derwent, Lightfast, my Polychromos. I do use my Caradosh Luminance, love those. And I'm really hoping that you guys can hear me okay, or at least see me. Like I said, we had some issues with storms and I woke up and we actually didn't have power for like almost a whole day. So, and then right after that our internet started acting pretty bad. So I am not for sure on if you guys can hear me or not, but hopefully you guys can. So around the outside of this flat, or on these ants, we are going to use my pan pastels to kind of go around the edges of these raindrops, kind of get these colors going. So we're just going to fill in basically with soft pastel, and then we're going to go over the top with color pencil. I'm really hoping my connection is good. If you guys can hear me okay. Hopefully you guys can. So let me switch it up to our camera for live work. I know I'm frozen on the other one. I just don't know if you guys can see me well on the other. If you guys can see, I don't want you to miss anything. So it shows that I'm good. So it's excellent, stream is healthy. So I guess I'm doing good. I'm just gonna go ahead and move on. If anybody can't see me or if I'm frozen, just pop a message below. Just let me know so that way I can kind of reframe. And we got a phone call. That don't really help out much. Oh boy. But anyways, let me go ahead and move on. I know this feels like I'm actually making the worst stream ever. So sorry about that. So I'm kind of choosing these colors. I want to go over here to this camera. I got some different colors here, but as you can see in the reference photo, I want to get something that's pretty close to the dark around the outside. These look really, really bright. Probably not going to work because of how bright they are. I do like this little pasty kind of, what is it called? Peppermint green tint. That is a really gorgeous color, so probably gonna stick with that one. I really do like it. Now that one's a pretty one. See? I like that one. And that one there is bright yellow green shade. Then we got this one here, which is a gorgeous one. It's not as bright as this one. This one here kind of looks like more of a, doesn't look real, but this one does. I like this one. So these two, and then we got a darker one, so a little bit darker than this one. Still got a beautiful shade to it. I love it. I'm gonna use it. Looks like these two are about the same, so I may have some duplicates in here. And this one here looks like it's a tad bit darker, maybe. Yeah. This one here says chrome oxide green shade. And this one here is permanent green shade. So, and then chrome oxide green. So these are some gorgeous colors. I do like these. I wish I had a little bit darker of a color, but I wondered if I could just kind of mix it with like a blue. If I got a dark blue, I could probably mix it with those to make a really dark, or at least a darker green. So I love these little trays that you can get. These are for your Sofft pan pastels. So what I'm gonna do is kind of take this apart. And I'm gonna lay this aside because I don't really need it. I'm gonna lay my colors, and I'll just pop them right in here. So that way they don't get anywhere. It's a nice little tray to hold your pan pastels that you're using, and use it kind of like a paint palette. Oops, got my finger in it. So let me go ahead and see if I got some dark blues. I got some purples. Here's some blue, maybe a little bit of a black. Here's some grays, which you guys know me, I really do enjoy using some of my Payne's gray for darkening things. So I may have actually a dark, like a Payne's gray in here. So let's go ahead and look at it. Yeah, and there it is. See, I love Payne's gray, so love to use it to darken a lot of my things. Looks like I got another Payne's gray and another Payne's gray. So I got like 3 Payne's gray right here. Can't run out, I got plenty. So, and I'm not seeing anybody saying that I am lost or they have not seen me on the video. So I haven't seen anybody say anything. So I'm thinking that you guys can still hear me or see me. If not, feel free to leave me a comment below. Let me know if you guys can't see me or hear me. And then I get some darker blue. So I'm going to put this little Payne's Gray in there. And I'm going to search for a darker blue. I don't think, looks like it's getting lighter and not darker. Yeah, it's getting lighter. Okay. So what I am going to do is, since Payne's Gray is basically my darkest color, I am going to, and let's put this little misty color in there. It's so pretty. I just got to put it in there. It's beautiful. Super bright. Is I'm going to take a little bit of a black. As long as I don't get my sparkle black. This is my sparkle one. Actually, I may not have a non-sparkly black. Which is perfectly fine on that, because there is alternatives to that. And I will show you guys. Let's see here. Oops, almost knocked over everything. So anyways, I just went ahead and pulled out my black pastel just in case I need to darken some of it. And then I'm going to take out my Sofft tools. Feels like I haven't been prepared or something. Like I was. Let's move that. You might want to run it over. And let's try and rearrange these cameras here. It looks like you guys can't really see, but only part of the drawing. Kind of editing the screen. I guess it doesn't do anything. There we go. Yeah. There we go. I think that might work for you guys. So I can make sure you guys can see the whole picture. Basically, I just maneuvered my whole entire screen and edited it right on there for you guys. So on these, I have used other colors with these, but not quite for sure what I used. I may have used an oil pastel on this, so I probably want to change those out and get some different ones. Which I reorganized everything in my art room, so this ought to be fun. So we are going to go with this one here. It is like, looks like a boot. Oops. I am having a rough day today. Just tore that. And I really can't even remember where I stuck all my little soft tool pieces. I get into rearranging my art room in my studio, and next thing you know, I put things in places I'm like, oh, this is the greatest place ever, and it's so organized. And then what happens? I forget where I put them. And I thought I put them in here. Oh, I remember. Hold on 1 second. Actually, it's just right over here. Probably a better place to be able to put your soft tools, but I put them in a little container here. So I got all my little soft tools in there, and probably a bad idea because I forgot where they were. So probably not a good idea to stick them in places that you don't know where they are. Oh boy. Now it feels like Christmas. So I'm going to go ahead and slip this on. I did have oil pastel on that other one, so that's why I was like, oh, I do not want to rub oil pastel all over the painting. So let's go ahead and get started with this. So I'm going to kind of put this here, right there, so maybe you guys can see me. And I'm just going to kind of mix things up. Now I can see that there's a little bit of a darker shadow right around this area and here around these little raindrops. Now I don't want these raindrops to be showing through my soft pastel, because they will show through. And that's because pencil, here we go losing things again, pencil and soft pastel don't go together. They end up, your soft pastels won't stick to it. So what I like to do is just kind of take my kneaded eraser and just kind of roll it. And I'm basically just removing some of that shiny part that won't allow your soft pastels to stick to it. I'm just going to roll it across here so that way it kind of takes that off. But yet you can still see your drawing. I think a lot of you guys who have watched my channel have seen me do my artwork before. Sometimes it's like more sped up, so you don't really get to see me live, like doing my color pencil pieces. So it is kind of nice to be live. I'm just hoping that everything's going good on the channel and that you guys can see me. That is from this stream. Yeah, it's just weird. I think I've had it before where it was doing this too with my stream when I first started, because the internet connection, I wasn't hooked to the Ethernet, like an Ethernet cord, and it froze up. But I guess everybody could still see me, but I couldn't see myself moving, or like I was frozen. Now it's going to make it hard for you guys to actually see the little raindrops and the ants, but as I go, I know I can see them. If it just doesn't pick up on the camera very well at all, but my lines are still there. I can see them, and I took most of the graphite off so that way my soft pastel can stick. Okay, so basically the only thing I haven't done as far as removing the soft pastel or the color pencil would be basically the ants, so right in this little area. So I'll have to do that, but right now we want to work on this side, just kind of making the shadow and so it's a little bit darker. This here I can use, it's called Pastel Sharpener. And if I want to, this makes it super nice, is if I don't have like any black or anything like that, not only can you sharpen some of your pastel to a point, but it collects all the dust and everything from your soft pastel. Okay, so after I do that, I can lay that there. And then inside here, can you see that? I got some black, and it's like a fine powder. So if I'm wanting to make something darker, I can dip my little brush into my soft pastel and use black. So we can do that. Let's start with our darker color here, or not really our darker color, but it's one of our darker greens. Like I said, I've never used this paper before, so I don't know how it's gonna work. And I'm using this soft, smoother side of the paper, but looks like it's still got a little bit of texture to it. But it's still definitely smoother, so I don't have to rip my little soft tool up to millions of pieces like I'm using it on sandpaper or anything. So okay, see when it goes down into like this area here, it kind of comes to a point. And there's like a lighter leaf in there. Don't have it drawn in, but I'm just looking off of my picture. Okay, so let's take some of this dark. We're going to kind of darken this up just a little bit using my Payne's Gray. I'm going to put some of my green on top of it. And I'm going to use just a little bit of my black. Making some sort of little pattern in there, just kind of making it darker. Now I'm going to take my, let's see here, maybe just a little bit of this, a little bit of a lighter green in there. Okay. Now I'm going to kind of do this on the outside of this plant. this little flower. It's like a little rose, or not really a rose bud, but it's like a little flower bud that hasn't bloomed yet. Taking around the edge here, around the edge on this little raindrop. Go over it with my darker green. So that looks really nice. I like that. And if I'm wanting to take it a step darker, then just use some of this black, just kind of tap it in there. Just trying to get me some of the dark to kind of fall off from my little soft tool here. I'm not sticking a whole bunch on my soft tool, just a little bit. Kind of run it along the same kind of line. Kind of pulling out those edges just a little bit. There we go. And if I'm wanting to make this a little bit darker too, I can. Just kind of dabbing some of my black in there. And now we got this shade kind of going in there, which has got the darks, it's got the lights for the gradient colors. Now, I wanted to try something, and I might as well try it now. I'm going to go ahead and get some of my Spectra fix and just kind of mist over it, and then see if we can't just like add another layer to it. So let's just try that. I've been dying to do it. So I put it into my little spray bottle here, my little fine mist spray bottle. I'm gonna make sure it's not like clogged up, because sometimes it can. Okay, so I sprayed it a little bit. Usually I like to spray it when it's more upright, because that way the bigger drops can fall and then you're getting the lighter drops on it. Kind of working down flat, but it's okay, because once this dries, then I'm just going to go over the top of it again and see if we can't add another layer to it. Now, as you can see, this paper kind of bubbled up a little bit. Let me see if I can't use my hairdryer, speed up the dry time, so that way we can do another layer and see how it goes. So I am actually going to put you guys on silent so I don't bust your eardrums. So hold on 1 second and I will put you back on. I think you all may have missed that. My son tried to sneak around the corner on me. Yeah, he ran up the stairs too. Yeah, I don't think the camera can see him, but he just like looked to see if I was recording, and then he goes and started just running up the stairs. So a little camera shy. So now that we got that dry, I wanted to go ahead and I'm going to add another layer to that. I'm going to start on this one here though. I definitely want to get my colors filled in. So I'm going to take don't have to clean too much off, but because I mean we're going to be working with the same color greens, it's not going to hurt anything. But don't want it too dark because this other one that comes through here, this little leaf, looks a little bit lighter. So we are going to go with more of this other type of green here. I don't know if I could turn this where you guys can see it. I'm going to go with this green. Let's see here. Okay. And it looks like there's an edge. It looks like it comes up. Like that. Then we got more of this misty type of green, which is really, really pretty. This is the one I really, really like. I think it's called peppermint, like mist or something. Whatever it is, I absolutely love it. This is a really cute color. And this actually comes all the way down into there. So I like that. That's really, really pretty. Love it. Now I do see that a little bit there's more of a darker shade in there. So we're actually going to take this and add some more of my Payne's Gray. I'm going to take some of my dark. Okay. And then I'm going to take a little bit of my black. Sprinkle just a little bit. Tap, 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 tap. Right alongside of that little leaf. I like that. So now I'm going to take some more of my darker green and just kind of layer that in on top of that black. Kind of do the same thing there. You have a hint of a color, kind of like a lighter green in here, so I want to kind of put some of that lighter green. I say lighter green, but it's more of a green. I know, I'm too lazy to probably turn it around and be like, okay, let me read you the colors again. But I'm just going off of just looking at the reference photo and kind of picking the best colors, the closest colors. It's not the perfect colors, but it's close. And that's all that matters. Let's see here. And that gives it more of a beautiful kind of shade. I love that. That looks really gorgeous. Yep. So now this here, I'm going to kind of take it, rub it from side to side here, see if I can't Now down here at the bottom, looks to me like it's got like a little ant like crawling around on the side there. I'm not going to put him in. I'm just actually just going to leave him out. So I'm going to take my Payne's Gray again and come right along the edge. Now I don't have it with that little leaf-like thingy sticking out. I did not put that in there, but that is perfectly fine because you can make adjustments anytime you want. If you don't like that little green little leaf in there, you don't have to stick them in there. Some of this darker green. And always whenever you're doing something, sometimes it just doesn't look good when it first starts out. That's perfectly fine. Do not get discouraged. Just keep on layering and keep on working with it. Because I remember whenever I used to do it, I was like, oh man, it doesn't look that good. You know, I messed up and I wouldn't continue. It was like I stopped. But if you work on it and take time, and even though it looks bad, it's going to look bad at first. Just keep working on it over and over and over again. Don't give up. Work on the same piece. It will start eventually getting better and better. I'm going to put some of this lighter normal green in here. Now I'm going to call it normal green. Lighter normal green. And I didn't even use all of my greens. I ended up feeling like I didn't really need to use them because I got the effect that I was wanting without them, which can happen. You don't have to use every single color that's on your palette that you stick in there. You just stick some colors that you think would go good with it. You start working on your colors, and if you're happy with just the colors you're using, you don't have to use all of them. You don't have to throw every single color in there that you picked out. I ended up basically on this piece just using 3 colors. Well, 3 greens, 1 Payne's gray, and then a black. Okay. So now what I'm going to do with this one is that I'm going to go ahead and spray the bottom. So that way we got a fixative on there. And it's not like a permanent fixative neither. It's like just, I guess just a layering, so that way if you wanted to layer on it. All right, so I think I got it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and turn you guys on mute so that way I don't hurt your ears. Hold on one second. All right. So the next thing we want to do on this piece is that basically, even though we're working with the soft pastels, I want to also put the soft pastel on top of the piece, even though we're going to work with color pencil. And you can easily work with color pencil on top of soft pastel, so that should be no problem at all. So just getting a little bit of a base layer around the bigger areas like this can also speed up the time that it takes, because color pencil takes an extremely long time, especially if you're working layer after layer after layer. It can really be time consuming. So doing your piece in like soft pastel or doing a mixed media piece can really help speed up your your color pencil pieces that you're doing. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and do the same thing, just kind of working around these little raindrops, creating basically a underpainting for my color pencil. And I am just going to use basically the same colors that I see here. I do see there's some little bit of reds, like a little rosy colors that's kind of in there. And some tans, creams, a little bit of whites. So what I'm going to do is just kind of leave those. I don't really want to work with those right now. As far as a lighter color goes, I may end up wanting to get out possibly one more color, and that would be more of that green that I said was more like, looks like a fake kind of green. It doesn't look like a real type of green. That might actually come in handy because right around some of these areas, they do have more of this really rich green that looks like it's basically like an artificial kind of green look. I mean, it's really a green. So let me go ahead and grab that. I think I should have it here actually. Let's see here. I think it's that one. But I just want to make sure. Yeah. I don't know. It is so stinking close. It's like, yeah, we'll just stick it in here. Food for thought. Makes me think about it. I'll have to think about it. It might. And then this here kind of color, it could actually be in there just a little bit. We shall see. Not for sure yet. Don't know. Might go that direction. So I'm going to go ahead and wipe off what I can of a lot of my dark that's on there if I have any black. I don't really want black mixed in. Don't have to get it completely clean like this is. It looks really dirty, but it's okay. So it looks to me like we have some of that green. Should I say green kind of look? Here, I'm gonna get the edges of it kind of dipped in this little pan because we're gonna have to make some sharp edges here. Okay. So there, I got a little tint of that green, and I just want to continue it down along the side here. Kind of trying to get that line right in here. Okay. So yeah, I got that hint of green coming up through there. It's a really bright green. And now I'm going to take some of this, well, they got a little bit of a yellowish tint to it, so I'm going to put some of that in there. Just kind of mix in some of that yellowish tint. I see a little bit of it, like a yellowish green. Comes up right along the edge of some of this. kind of got a little bit of a mixture going on with some of the greens that's already in my Sofft tool. So you can't really go wrong with this kind of thing because you're using nothing but different shades of green. I mean, it's really like, it ain't like you're mixing a whole bunch of colors that just don't blend or go with each other or make some sort of color. Like, you know, you blend two colors and make purple and you're like, uh-oh, or you blend two colors and make green, which we're already using, so it's okay. Or making mud, you know, this here is just several different types of greens. So even if they do mix up a little bit, you're still safe. You just got different variations of green, which is found naturally in your plants. So then we got up here, which looks like a different type of green in here. It looks kind of a bland, kind of darker green that kind of comes up in here. You roll with some of this darker green. And then we got, looks like a little bit of this kind of green coming through there. A good green coming through there. So we're going to put it in there. See, I don't have it extremely perfect, but it's okay. And see, we got the ant right there, which, I mean, if you're going to do it in color pencil, it's going to be really hard just to, like, if you're following off of that little reference of the ant, should I say, and going to do a mixed media with color pencil, I probably wouldn't erase the graphite. Yeah, your soft pastel is not really going to stick very well to it, but that's okay, because color pencil, when using, I mean, ants are a darker color anyway. They're not like a bright white or anything like that. They're definitely a darker color. So that will actually help out with covering up over the top of graphite lines, because color pencil will cover up and go on top of the graphite But if you're working really light colors, then that's what makes it really hard when you work with color pencil, because lighter colors happen to be more, let's just say, translucent, or you can't really cover up too much of a graphite pencil. Looks like right in here we got some of that green going on. Right in there. Kind of in there. Okay. Which in that case, that's fine. We'll just put some of this yellowish green right there with it. And I could always go back and erase those lines if I needed, especially for the little raindrops. I may end up having to come back and erase some of those lines. But it shouldn't be too much of an issue. So now on this here corner, which looks really awkward because we don't really got a whole entire little shape here, I really do think that I have it zoomed in quite a bit. So be honest with you, let's go ahead and make this darker, because I did kind of look at the photo and do more of a close-up look when doing it. Okay. And see, the raindrops are not perfectly white neither. It's like they got some speckles in them. They look like they're more transparent. So even if you just dust some over like this at the very end and just kind of dust over your raindrop, you should be still fine. Let's just do that. Let's just dust over those raindrops. Those are a little bit whiter. Those are actually a little bit lighter. So these have more of a white with the reflection in them of the light, where it doesn't really see very well. So that's okay, we can keep that. Those a little bit lighter. On the other side, we have those blended in because they're more of a see-through type of color. Like you can see the leaves, like the green tone underneath on all of these here. So be honest, let's just have some fun. And probably like, what are you doing? Just messed up your whole entire piece. Nope. Have fun with your artwork. Don't get too stressed out on being too picky. You'll be just fine. See, I don't want to make it too thick on top of that one, because that one there has a little bit of a glow to it. Oh, looks like my internet started working again. Or at least as far as it goes with the stream. Let's see here. Looks like more of a yellowish tone through here. But I figured with this stream here, I was just gonna make it not really long. I figure, like the other, I was doing about a 2-hour live stream doing that acrylic painting, it definitely took a really long time, and to be honest with you, I am still not done with that sucker. It is still going. So yes, that one will not be completely done yet until I'm absolutely satisfied with it. And that's just the thing, is that you hang it up on your wall, which I did. I hung it up on my wall, and I'll just, you know, look at it at my wall and just look at it, and then I start to think, you know what, maybe I could do this with it, or maybe it would look better if I did this to it. So yeah, it's sitting up there because I still got to probably monkey with the vase part of it a little bit more, and then I want to do some airbrush work with it. So that one's not done. And I know you guys were probably ready to move on. I didn't have anybody comment that they wanted to see any of that with the airbrush or continuing on with that piece. So we have moved on to the next subject. Now here's my black, and I'm just gonna stick this here, kind of speckled. There's some speckly stuff in there. A really dark area with some speckles. Some shadow. Take some of my green, kind of go over the top of it. And I'm just kind of going around it. I don't want to make it too thick with pastel on top of the areas that I will be going with my color pencil. But by doing this also and then going over with color pencil, do you know how much this is just going to pop? Like, those droplets are just going to pop out of this. Man, to look a little bit like a 3D painting. Looks to me like we got a awkward shaped kind of flower going on, but that's kind of how it looks in the picture too. It doesn't look like a straight round. I mean, it does on your guys's, but whenever you're like zoomed in at an angle, it looks more like not completely round. Okay, so now I left these little areas right here alone. Probably need this little guy here. So I'm going to make like a little thing right in there, right in there. Pick a darker area. Probably gonna have to do some arranging on it with some color pencil, but at least we know that little subject's there. So like if we were gonna do, let's see, I can just easily roll over this with the these lines kind of showing through on it. which if you had that happen and you're wanting your lines to kind of disappear on some of, like, these here will be darker, they'll be done in color pencil, the ants won't have too much of an issue. But if you're really wanting these lines to disappear, maybe you put them in a spot and you're like, never mind, and then you can't get them off. I usually use my electrical eraser by Derwent, and you can usually just go in here and very easily just kind of remove the line. Plus that, you can get rid of some of the soft pastel that you put on. Would be funny if I ran out of battery and be like, oops. Now I'm getting more of an accurate shape. And I'm getting rid of that color pen, or that, I'm getting rid of the graphite lines, or not the graphite, yeah, the graphite lines, and I'm getting rid of some of those areas with the soft pastel that I may have went over, and maybe I didn't want it. Maybe I'm like, no, I didn't do that exactly the way I wanted it to. Well, voila, it's like the lines are gone now. So like, let's just say this one down here where I said, oh, you know, this little raindrop here is kind of bright and I don't want to make him dark if he's supposed to be bright. Well, here's your little electric eraser. Definitely nice to have. And see, you can easily just make that lighter. You can even shape it into maybe some of the ways that you want your lightest colors to be at and leave the rest alone. So you could end up doing that. In this case, this one here was really, really bright, so I really probably don't need it. Now, instead of just rubbing it off on my hand or blowing it everywhere, I usually have, like, you know, I probably don't even have it in here, but I used to have like this little, yeah, it's in a little thing somewhere else. You can easily use a hairdryer just to blow it off, or you can use like a little eraser brush like so, just to kind of dust it off. But since you're working with pastel, soft pastel, as long as you didn't put it on too thick, it shouldn't be too much of an issue, just to kind of dust it off a little bit. Or use your hairdryer to blow it off. I know I got a thicker brush than this. There we go. And now we got the eraser dust out of there. Now in some of these here, these little raindrops, I'm just going to, because there's some areas here where it's actually a little bit brighter. And I don't really want the graphite showing through on this. I don't care if there's like soft pastel in it. Just some of these areas here really need to have, oop, Looks like I'm running out of eraser on this. So it's time to change this one out. See, it feels like I'm not prepared. It feels like I'm either running out of something, don't have everything together. But it's just amazing on how quick this works. I mean, I know it's already 8:14, so I kind of been going on for a little bit on this one. I absolutely loved working with this so far. It's been so much fun. Put another one of these little refill pack erasers in here. Just get this little insert. You guys haven't seen it. Sometimes I'm learning as we go on what to do. So it'll live stream and artist chat. So anytime you guys feel free to ask questions or anything like that, this is definitely the place to do it. So I'm just kind of going around. Taking off some of those graphite lines, that's all I'm doing. Because we're working with a really lighter raindrops. The inside on there, I don't really mind. I mean, that's perfectly fine. Unless I'm wanting a really, really bright highlight, then I might have to do some ranging to it. But if there's some in it, like these, you know, might be a little bit brighter, or horseshoes. Ooh. My eraser's kind of long there. It's there we go. And now let's see here. This is a nice, looks like a nice big one. I think there's a nice little one right here. And then that looks fine. Looks like there's these. Now these up here are really, really bright. They're almost like, they're almost white, like bright, bright white. So it probably wouldn't hurt with this one just to kind of take out some of that soft pastel in there. At least in these. Okay. And then this, yeah, these are all like really bright. And you could always just do like little bitty dots like this. Just kind of make something. And see, I don't even think there's really a raindrop there in the reference photo. There could be, because there's actually quite a bit. quite for sure why that one goes out. I think it's because there's another raindrop like right beside it. Like right in there. Kind of going around these. If my eraser doesn't stop bouncing everywhere. Sometimes it's nice to get them once they're a little bit worn down. Now see up here, we had some of this in this area. Let me go ahead and sit this here. And there we go, I kind of shaped this. Now my battery's kind of running dead on this. Probably need to redo or put a new battery in. So I'm gonna go ahead and dust this off. And look how far we came already. I mean, just that little bit and we're already getting ready to almost start on the color pencil. Now here I'm just kind of seeing some eraser. I call it eraser gunk. It's like eraser gunk. It gets a little sticky. Like little, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like eraser that ends up erasing another little crumb of eraser that ends up becoming gummy, and I just call it eraser gunk. So I got that off of there. Now, as far as these lines with the graphite, like in here, I do think there's a couple little raindrops in this area that I just totally missed. There. All right, I think I got them all. If not, if I'm wanting to put in more, I can end up putting in more little raindrops in there. But I pretty much got a nice little foundation here going on. I do see where I need to add more greens, more reddish tones. And this little color here is more like a peach kind of color. So let me go ahead and see if I don't have something like that. I think I do. I seen it and then I put it back down. I don't know if it's this color. Let me see here. Yeah, it's like a rosy, peachy kind of color. So we can always add it. Let me see what it's called for you guys. It's called red iron. Even though it looks more pinkish, peachy kind of color. Wipe off some of that green that's on there. I'll try and fold it in half. Yeah, we had a little bit with no data on this live stream. Sorry about that. Now I'm kind of creating this more peachy look, which is so cute. And if you get a little bit out of control, don't worry about it, because you've seen what we can do. We can easily, very, very easily just erase it, so it's fine. I mean, I don't even know what this is, to be honest. It's like a different color. It's kind of weird. I don't know why I didn't fill that in. Looks like it's more of a lighter kind of green. Put some of this right around in here, looks like. And there's where some of the red kind of comes in here somewhere. So we can end up coming back and doing that. But at least we got a base. And it kind of looks like more of a tannish color down here too, which is kind of different. But it is a flower bud, so. Okay. And it's going to take several layers. And even if you're trying to make this like more round, I know it looks like I gotta contour it just a little bit more, maybe possibly take it up and around like this. So we shall see. So I may end up coming back through and just kind of doing a little bit of a shape altering there. And I may end up having to take out a little bit of a, don't really feel like taking out like being that exact with it, and doing one of those little protractors or whatever it's called, like a geometry kind of tool, and just kind of scoping it out to make sure it's completely the way it is. Really, it could. No, it makes a really nice round shape though, doesn't it? I kind of like that. Because it's like zoomed in at a weird angle. But anyways, it's already 8:30, almost 8:30, and usually I go about 2 hours. But this time I'm thinking, because I want to use my color pencil, start on my color pencil, I got a really nice base layer to this that I absolutely love. I'd really like to start working with some of the color pencil on this and incorporating it. Make sure that all around the little bitty ants are completely covered. That way when I work with my color pencil, I don't have any harsh lines that I need to fill. So there we go, my ants are covered. And then it's a little bit darker up here. Let's do a little bit of a shade. Make this a little bit darker. Looks like some of my darkness kind of came off here. And see, if I ended up spraying this with a fixative and then going over it again, I would end up making it to where it would seal it down. And then let's just say you want to come back through with your color pencil over this portion of it, then it's basically going to be stuck. It's going to be really harder to remove your soft pastel in order to lay down your color pencil. So that's why I haven't been saying like, okay, let me go ahead and spray this down, add another layer to it of the soft pastel, because I don't want to basically make it to where I can't get the soft pastel out completely. If it happens to be, I want to make it really, really light in that area with my color pencils. So yep, I think this would be a really good stopping point. We got a really nice base layer. We got a gorgeous kind of background. I love the background on here. We got this nice little leaf, which actually we could add a little bit more green to it because I see too many straight shapes in it that I'm not really fond of. Going like that, see that straight right there? Well, in real life, you don't really have things that are just that straight. Don't know what that is. It sounds like my son just fell off the bed. So what I'm going to do is kind of take that down just a little bit. And then take that right to there. There we go. That looks more realistic. Some odd shapes there. Maybe a little bit brighter. And if I'm wanting to go a little bit brighter with it, I could easily take some of my white . Just kind of put it in there just a little bit. Make some of that area a little bit brighter. There we go. All right. Well, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. It definitely helps the channel. Plus that, definitely ring the bell for any notifications, because that way you can get notified on the next video that we'll have, which will be part 2 and working on color pencil. So, color pencil time. Woohoo! I absolutely love color pencil. So definitely you want to stick around for that. Hopefully I don't have any more technical errors with my computer freezing up on me with my screen and me not knowing if you guys were there or not. Hopefully you guys were, and there was nothing missed on this. I'm going to stick that somewhere else. So until next time, let's see here, next week looks like it won't be the first part of July, so it'd probably be the next week. So it'll be after 4th of July. I guess it would be the next video after 4th of July. We should be having a box, like art box, monthly box subscription kind of comparison video, where I got 3 boxes that will be coming in, and I will be comparing each of those boxes. So that'll be a July's box for, let's see here. Of course, I got the Powerful Pack box. Absolutely love it. Still with them. So, and then I have the Art Snack box, which I just got one. And then I've got the Sketch box, which also I just got. Well, so far I'm on the subscription of that one. I went ahead and paid for it, but we're going to do a comparison and just see how everything is and some of the pros and cons on those. That's coming up in the either the first or second week of July. Whenever I receive all the boxes, I will do a video on them as soon as I can. So until next time, I'll see you all next Tuesday, so that way we can actually work on the color pencil for this ant piece that I am super excited, and my little guys right here are super excited. So here, let's just put them right here so they can see their little friends. There they are. And you can see them right there. Yep, they're super excited. They're watching their little friends, my little ants here. See? Because whenever they get done, I will have this nice little piece. I'm going to put it up and they are going to join them. So super excited. I'll see you all next Tuesday. Bye, you guys.